Today's topic is going to be complementary, supplementary, and bisecting angles. Yesterday we talked briefly about what a bisecting angle is, but today we're going to introduce complementary and supplementary. Our vocabulary words today are obviously complementary angles, supplementary angles, and bisecting angles. A complementary angle is two angles that are side by side that add up to 90 degrees. So they form a right angle, two angles side by side that form a right angle. You'll notice that this angle is a right angle, and those two angles that are complements of each other are 50 and 40. 50 plus 40 equals 90. A supplementary angle are two angles that are side by side that add up to 180. So they're two angles that are side by side that form a straight line. You'll notice here that together 150 and 30 gives you 180. So they add up to 180. I always remember this because C comes before S in the alphabet, so 90 comes before 180. So complementary 90, supplementary 180. You might want to make note of that because sometimes it's hard to remember, but C comes before S, 90 comes before 180. Complementary is 90, supplementary is 180. A bisecting angle is a ray that divides an angle into two equal parts. Equal is your key word. So if we have this angle that is 120 degrees, the bisecting angle would divide it into two equal parts. So if it was 120, it's now 60 and 60. That's a bisecting angle. For example 1, I want you to identify the type of angle that I draw and name its complement. So I'm going to draw angle ABD, and I'm going to draw also angle CBD. Angle CBD is going to be 20 degrees. So what kind of an angle is angle CBD? Well, angle CBD is an acute angle, and its complement, because they have to add up to 90, its complement would be 90 equals 20 plus x, this being x. If I subtract 20 from both sides, you'll find out that 70 equals x. So angle ABC's measure is 70 degrees. If we look at angle EFG, angle EFG is also acute angle because it's less than 90. And since HFG is a straight angle, it measures 180, then angle EFH is 100 degrees because 80 plus x equals 180, so x must equal 100. So angle EFH is a 100 degree angle. Example 3 says to calculate the measure of an angle that is supplementary to angle KJL. So remember, supplementary would be two angles side by side that would add up to 180. So we can set up the equation 180 equals 22 plus x. And if we subtract 22 from both sides, we find that x equals 158. So the angle that is supplementary to angle KJL measures 158 degrees. If ray NP bisects angle MNQ, so I'm going to draw angle MNQ, and I have to bisect it with ray NP, so that means that NP is going to divide it in half. Ray NQ bisects angle PNO. So we've got PN and we need an O. And remember that Q bisects those two, so that's halfway. And the measure of angle MNP is 17 degrees. What is the measure of MNO? What is the measure of this big one here? Well, if this right here is half of this, then we need to do 17 plus 17. And if this is half of this, we need to add another 17 on to figure out what MNO is. So if we do 17 times 3, we'll find that angle MNO measures 51 degrees. And again, that's because all of these are halves of the other. So this is half of this, and this is half of this. The last question says, if two angles are congruent and complementary, what is the measure of each angle? So congruent, we know, means same. They're the same measure. And complementary means they have to add up to 90 degrees. Then we can say that 2x has to equal 90 degrees. That's the same as saying x plus x has to be 90 degrees. Well, what plus itself is 90? If I solve my equation here, I find that x equals 45 degrees. So in order to get two angles that are congruent and complementary, side by side, adding up to 90, both of these guys have to be 45 degrees. All right, I'd like for you to summarize and write your questions down on your step-by-step sheet. Take your Edmodo quiz. And then, lastly, I'd like for you to apply your new knowledge using your step-by-step sheet for Chapter 9.3's skill practice. Have a great day.